Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I make my vinyl stickers with my Sihlouette Cameo 3. Okay, so we're going to start off with a new sheet, and I'm going to set up my stickers how I would set them up if I was going to print and cut them. So first we're going to find the graphic that you wish to use. So in this case, I'm going to use this illustration. Now, first of all, we'll have to resize it. So let's change the size. We want it to fit the page. A standard size page is what we would want. So 8.5 by 11. And we're actually going to shrink this down to the actual size of the sticker that I want. So probably about this big. Okay, so obviously you have the white here and you don't want that white. So we are going to go in and we are going to trace it. So we're going to select around here and we're going to bring the threshold up as basically high as you can go. Not to 100%, but just below it. That should be fine. And then we're going to trace and detach. So now this comes apart from the white area and we can delete the white area. Alright, so now that we have this detached, we can now set the outline for it to where the actual cut outline will be. So if we go to the offset panel, you are able to set an offset for your image and you can set that as a cut. So you will be able to cut around it instead of close to the edge. I usually like to go about 85 or so, hit apply. And there we go, it's applied. So now you have this red outline around your sticker. Now if you wanted to make duplicates of this, you can just hold Alt and you can make copies. And then you could copy it down and have a full page. So another thing that we have to do before we actually cut our page out is we have to set up the page itself. So if you go to the first icon here, this is page setup. So the first thing we're going to want to set up is the type that we have. So we have the Cameo, so we would be type 1. And now you could see that the registration marks are cutting in about, almost an inch. So this, I believe is like the same size as the Cricut standard, and however you can't edit the Cricut standard, but we can edit the silhouette in this case. So if you come to dimensions, you can change the length of them and the thickness. The thicker it is, the easier the silhouette will be able to detect them. But we can also change the inset, so we can make this as big as we possibly want. And we can adjust these to be a little bit smaller. And there we go. Now we can get most of our page. And keep in mind that you don't want your sticker to be where this little crosshatch place is, or your silhouette will have trouble reading it and it won't be able to cut out in that area. Now, another thing you have to make sure is you have to make sure that your cutting mat is set to the appropriate cutting mat. Sometimes if you're cutting out vinyl, you won't need a cutting mat. So you can change that to none and you'll see that it disappears. But in this case, we're going to be using a cutting mat and we're going to be using the 12 by 12 inch cutting mat. So make sure that you have that selected. Alright, so once you have, say, all your stickers ready and you have your page set up, I would recommend saving the file so that you don't have to keep doing this over and over again. And in this case, I already have a file saved exactly for these stickers. So at this point, you're able to send this file to your silhouette. And you can see here that it has 2 red lines. Now, the red lines means cut edge. And obviously we don't want it to cut twice. We want just the white outline. So you can click on your picture and you can say no cut. And as you can see, this changes it so that it only cuts out the outline or the offset that we set up earlier. Now, a lot of people I find when they first purchase a silhouette, they seem to have trouble with how deep that the silhouette can cut. They'll say that it's not cutting all the way through my stickers. I always have it, so the settings that I use is I always have it on 10, which is the hardest pressure it's going to cut down. And then the force, I usually jack it up to about 33. I set the speed down to 2 so that it gives it enough. I find lowering the speed actually helps it cut out better. And usually I do 2 passes just to be safe. Usually 1 pass is enough, but 2 makes it certainly that I don't have to, if one doesn't accidentally cut or something, then this makes it certain that it will cut out every time. Now, I know sometimes some people have problems with the silhouette not detecting the registration marks. And I find one fix that happens is you can do the manual setup, which will appear here if it does do a registration failure. Or another way to do it is if you actually change the material. Now, for some reason, some materials don't work for me and they'll give me the registration error. However, I found that if you set it to washi sheets, it works. I don't know if this is for most people or for everyone, but this is something that works for me. So, usually I save it on this, and then at this point, you'd be able to send it to your machine and cut it out. Now, I'm going to open the file that I actually already have with these, and I'm going to print and set up that file so that we can watch it cut. So today I'll be using this matte vinyl sticker paper. I seem to like it the best because it doesn't stick severely onto surfaces and you're able to get it off cleanly without leaving any yucky residue that nobody likes. So I insert that into the printer. And then I will print my stickers. Usually I check the preferences. I like to set it to matte inkjet papers. I find the quality comes up better that way. And then I'm able to print. I also make sure with the matte vinyl paper that sometimes the edges seem to crimp or curl over. I always make sure to bend them ever so slightly before putting it into the printer so that it's flatter. My ink heads for my printer, they won't guck up the page because sometimes they can scrape against the edges of the page and usually it leads to a mess. If you're wondering about what printer I use the HP Envy 4520. It was a relatively cheap printer and I don't have any issues with the quality, so it prints out quite well. And there we go. So if we take a quick look, you can now see that we have a full page of the sushi stickers that I'll be cutting out. But first, we have to laminate. Alright, so every sticker sheet that I have, I take some laminate, which in this case Avery, and I like to put it over top of the stickers because it helps seal it a lot better and make it more waterproof because this is just matte. It also adds a nice gloss to it, I find, and helps them last longer, of course. So how I do this is I like to take just a plastic card and I'm going to apply this page to my sticker sheet. So you can see that the top is already a little bit off here. You take the top off and you can set this just gently on the edge. But first, I missed almost an important step. What I like to do is another thing that causes the silhouette to incorrectly read is sometimes the glossiness doesn't work well with it. So if you have something like a holographic film that's going to be going over top. Something that is good is to cut off or trim the corners of the page so that this can just read the matte paper instead of trying to read through the sparkles or a laminate glossy sheet. So as you can see, I will be trimming the corners off. Now make sure that you don't obviously trim too much, because then you won't have enough for your stickers. Alright, so that should be good. And then I just have to trim off the bottom corner as well. Alright, see if it's good enough, and it is. Well, maybe a little bit more. Much better. Okay. So we can now lay this down. Okay. And obviously you want to be careful with this step, because you want to get it as flat as you possibly can. You don't want any air bubbles or anything that may affect your stickers. Alright, so now you can lift this up and you can start to peel, but we're not going to do it all at once. We're going to go slow and steady. So you're going to flip this back over and you're going to slowly hit the card that you've chosen, or whatever flat thing basically that will help you. And you're going to slowly but surely go back and forth across, making the laminate as flat as possible. Alright, flip that over. We'll grab our Sihlouette mat, and now we're going to line it up on our mat. Now obviously you want to make sure that the arrow is facing properly. Now my mat isn't very sticky anymore, and I actually need to get a new mat. Most mats are going to be stickier than what you see here. I've heard that they have mats available on Amazon that aren't actually the Sihlouette brand, but they are actually more sticky and they don't run out as fast. So I'll probably be trying that next. And in my case, if the mat is wearing out and it's not as sticky as you need it to be, good old handy tape comes to play. So I like to just tape down the corners, because those are the most important thing that the Sihlouette has to read. And I want to make sure that they are as flat as possible. Okay, that should be good. And now we can load the Sihlouette. Okay, so the first thing I do is load my mat up to the blue line, load it in, then I can come over here to my program and I can hit send. Alright, so now that the stickers are done, we're going to wait for this to let me unload. And here are the cutout stickers. Now with the double pass, like I said, they're easier. They are for sure easy to come out. And then you get a clean sticker cut every time. So if I do a close-up, alright, so now you can see that it has a clean cut all the way around. You have the nice gloss to protect it, and there you have it. So in the beginning of the video, I showed some holographic stickers that I had made. It's the same concept. You'll just have to find a holographic transparent laminate. You'll have to find a holographic laminate, which is available online. So if you Google it, you'll be sure to find it. And it's the same process. You would do it just like you would be to apply laminate, and instead you'll get a holographic cover on your stickers. So it looks super cute and it looks super great, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you out. So if you're starting out and you want to start selling at conventions, I hope this gives you some help to start making stickers. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be posting more videos about my art creations in the future. Thanks for watching.